Hello, this is Brian Purdy with the Florida Aviation Network. The last day, AirVenture 2025, Oshkosh, Wisconsin. Today in Hangar C with Grant Hoover of Aileronics. We've visited with him before with the progression of the Sentinel, and I think everybody's going to be impressed at the current form factor and capabilities. So good morning, Grant.
Good morning, Brian. Thanks so much for being here, and we're glad to be here.
Great. And from our discussions before, it seems like you're having a really good trip here. Tell us about some of the highlights.
Sure. Yeah, we're glad to be here. I think we first saw you last year at Sun and Fun, and so we've had a lot of progression since then. We're really showing off the new visual TCAS units that we're producing called Sentinel with the smaller form factor, greater functionality, and getting a lot of great feedback from our prospective users.
Okay. Yeah, we'll do some other views of the smaller form factor, and everybody's going to be impressed. So tell us a little bit about the technology. It's a visual TCAS, so just tell us the limitations and the advantages of this for the single pilot operations.
Sure. Yeah, so unlike a traditional TCAS, TAS, ADS-B traffic technology that uses transponders to either talk to ground stations or air-to-air, we can see anything that you can see with your own eyes. So we use a visual camera system that mounts on your windshield, and then we use an AI processing chip to visually detect birds, drones, airplanes with or without transponders. And so we can see anything without a transponder and then display it on your iPad to give you more situational awareness.
It's great. So it's a second pair of eyes, especially needed by the single pilot because, okay, I'm trying to look at a chart or change frequencies at the same time. Okay, great. Sounds like it's going to be available relatively soon. How are you handling all that?
Sure. Yeah, so we're getting very close now. I mean, over the past 2 years, we've really been focusing on getting the form factor down, getting it refined, seeing what pilots want and don't want, and making sure we get the product as good as possible, and we feel extremely close to that now. So we're doing pre-orders, and in October, we're doing a limited production run for our pre-order customers. They're going to get a pre-production test unit to help us do more third-party testing, put it through different environments, make sure everything's working properly, and then in April of next year, so when we see you at Sun and Fun next year, we're going to have a lot of boxes in the back of the booth ready to sell and ready to go to deliver to our pre-order customers as well as anybody else who comes by the booth.
Okay. So are your beta testers, do they need to apply to do that, or just everybody's going to automatically since they're getting an early release?
Yeah, so if you do a full deposit at the show today or about after the next week after the show ends online, you'll get a $250 discount and you'll get access to that October testing program.
Any special qualifications to be a tester?
Honestly, we're just looking for people who are passionate about the technology. So, like what we're doing, are interested in giving us feedback. The big part of this testing program is just running it through its paces, getting it as many situations as possible, and making sure everything's working properly. So if you're passionate about the technology, you're an active pilot, those are the kind of people we're looking for to help us test it.
Okay, great. Well, behind us, we've got almost like a live demo. I'm going to give the mic to you, and you can sort of point out the things on the screen that we can expect to see. Now, is this going to be what you would see on your iPad, or as far as seeing like a cockpit representation also?
So the video here that we're showing is really just showing off what the camera processing unit does. And so we have traffic as we're making this turn here, and then we're running our AI algorithm against it, and it's picking up a plane there. There was a bird that came across. There's another plane. So we're showing off what the camera can see in terms of what you'll see in the cockpit. That will show up on your iPad. So the camera mounts up on the top of the dash or on the top of the windscreen looking outside. And so on the iPad, you'll get a live, more like a TSB TCAS type display with traffic, and then whenever you click on the traffic you can actually see the images of it, but that'll be looking outside, a view of the horizon with the traffic highlighted. It won't be the cockpit view like this. Yeah, once we get AR goggles or heads-up displays then, but until then it's on the iPad.
It's a traditional drone and then a bird, and using the diamonds for the aircrafts?
Right,
okay.
Exactly. Yeah,
okay.
So at the top we have the traditional, just a TSB traffic page like that you'd see on like a navigator or in a TCAS display. But what we do differently is we show you the actual symbol of what type of traffic it is, so whether it is the diamond for the airplane or specifically the drone or the bird on top of that. And along with that, when you display the traffic, we can show you the image of what it actually sees.
Okay, so if you had a flock of birds, would it show more than one?
So we would combine that together into one fix, right? So we don't want to show like 50 different fixes if there's a flock of geese.
Yeah, that's
so we combine that into one when they're in close proximity together. Yeah, and then one thing that so this is our custom app that really showcases the image display here. And we can also feed this information, the traffic information, into your favorite EFB app like your ForeFlight or your Garmin Pilot or your iFly. And that just shows up on the moving map as your normal like cyan triangle. We can, and we're working on doing a picture-in-picture mode with our app so that we can take this, put it in the little pop-up box down below on top of your EFB app, so you get the video feed down there, and then you're used to seeing the rest of the traffic display in the normal app.
Will it be on an Android at some time?
Yeah, so next year when we're in production in April, then we'll have an Android version of the app too.
Okay, great. Let's go through the history.
Okay, yeah, so reviewing the history of where we've been on the hardware side of things, I mean, in 2023, we started experimenting with just different ways to move our camera, to motorize things, so just experimenting with a lot of different fundamental technologies to do a Pathfinder for those. And in January 2024, we're getting the first unit here that actually works and is fully integrated. And then when we first met you, Brian, last year at Sun and Fun, we were at this unit here. So we had a camera, we had a gimbal, we had all the hardware here, and this was our first kind of public showcasing of the technology, more like a ancient relic at this point, but still something to be able to test with. And as we keep moving here, we have our Oshkosh 2024 unit all integrated into just one package, but still a pretty large form factor. And then whenever we saw you earlier this year at Sun and Fun in 2025, we got it down to this size here. And so it's getting smaller, but at Oshkosh here in 2025, we are much smaller than that. Right, so this is our new unit that we're showing. This will be very, very similar to what goes out in October for our pre-production beta testers, and then as well as a more refined version of this form factor will be what we see next year in April. And so this is just now a split up. We just have a smaller camera module here. This is what actually mounts onto the windscreen, and so that is, you know, about an inch in diameter, maybe 2 or 3 inches tall. It just goes on either a sticky mount or a suction cup mount, and then that connects via a wire to our processing box. So this has the AI processing that has all the ADS-B in functionality, so we can do ADS-B in, weather, GPS, backup AHRS on top of the visual detections. All of that's encased in this box, and then that syncs wirelessly to your iPad from there.
I think you said it can also be put on the dash rather than just the window.
Right, exactly, yeah. So depending on what dash you have, this can be mounted as long as it's forward-facing to see the traffic out front looking out the windscreen, then that would be able to work.
Grant, thank you very much. Let's take this last minute to get an idea of what the future looks like for Aileronics and Sentinel.
Sure. Yeah, thank you so much. So, yeah, we're here at Oshkosh showing off the technology, taking pre-orders, but next year we're very excited to get the production units out. So it's a worldwide product. We're seeing everybody between Europe, between Australia, Canada, US, I mean every country in between, and we're excited to get this technology out there. So we're excited to be at Sun and Fun next year. We'll be in a hangar booth, and we'll have a lot of units in the back. We'll be getting more interest in being able to sell them out to everybody who's interested in one, and feel free to check us out at flywithsentinel.com as well. We have more information on the website there to see where we're at, and we'll be doing web updates as we keep going here this year and next year as we keep developing the product.
So do you have an idea how many production units you're going to have at Sun and Fun, so we can say come early, or you took too long?
Yeah, so we will have what we believe is enough units, but we're also seeing many, many people interested in this product that if it were here, we'd be selling them like hotcakes. So we're going to do our best to make sure we have enough units, but I wouldn't be surprised if by the end of the week we didn't have any more to go. So, I mean, we'll have hundreds of units here, and they might not last. So do your best to either pre-order them or get to Sun and Fun early to pick yours up.
Well, that sounds great. Well, thank you, Grant, and thank you for joining us. This is Florida Aviation Network at AirVenture 2025 in Oshkosh, Wisconsin. Have a great day.